back to our channel.
I'm Steven, she's Andy, and today we're going to compare our last cruise on Princess with this cruise on Royal Caribbean.
If you're new to the channel, welcome. We're Steven and Andy, caffeinated travelers of the US and beyond.
We've only been on 2 cruises so far, but today we're sharing what we liked and disliked about each one. In a Princess versus Royal Caribbean face-off.
One of the first differences that we noticed when we embarked was the color palette. You may recall that when we were on our Princess cruise, we were commenting on how it was kind of odd that it was only a few years old, and yet it had this very 90s color palette with like tans and golds.
We're really enjoying all the outdoor space here. As far as inside, let's say it's a little beige maybe.
A little dated looking.
Yeah, a little dated, but it's cool.
This ship definitely has a much more contemporary color palette. It's a bit brighter, gray, more of a neutral, not so much a warm neutral, and definitely feels a little bit more of the times. On the flip side, the atrium in the Princess cruise was very bright. Just they had this openness and that made it feel very, I don't know, almost like we didn't feel so closed in. And I definitely feel very enclosed in something here. They're going for kind of like a street vibe with cafes and restaurants and bars and things kind of along it. And you can see like windows here from people who have interior rooms, I guess they are. And so they're facing in over this promenade area. But yeah, it definitely has a very dark and enclosed feel. It's not quite as open and airy feeling as on the Princess cruise. So I think 1 point for each in terms of the decor and aesthetic here. Okay, so one of our complaints about the Princess cruise was the pastries.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, the baked goods on the ship are not great. Everything is really dry.
Totally dry.
Very unsatisfying. So now we're gonna try the pastries here on Royal Caribbean. We got chocolate chip sticky buns. And we're gonna take our first test to see how the pastries compare. Let's check it out.
It feels soft already.
It feels squishy, I like it.
Pretty fresh.
We're gonna have to try 1 or 2 more just to make sure that we have a consistent answer. But right now I'm ready to give 1 point to Royal Caribbean for this one. I decided I wanted to try another pastry right away because I need to get to the bottom of this, make sure that point holds. So let's see. I got a chocolate donut. I like chocolate. In case you couldn't tell. Let's see. It's okay. It's gonna taste. It's all right.
Yeah.
It's definitely better than the Princess donuts were, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
All right, so we've decided to go with the scientific method here of repeatedly testing our theory. I went back and got a couple other pastries. This is a raspberry tart, and this, I don't remember the fancy name, but it's basically a blueberry crumble donut. This is really good. Could be slightly fresher, but way better than Princess, I'm sorry.
Okay, so to sum up on the pastries, I mean, we're not talking about like small town bakery fresh or anything in any of these instances.
No.
But, you know, for cruise ship or resort food, you know, we're going by those standards. And I would say definitely Royal Caribbean has the win.
Solid.
Yeah.
The cookies were definitely better on Princess.
Okay, we ordered room service here. We also ordered room service on the Princess ship, only it wasn't room service. It was find us anywhere on the boat service. So that was really, really cool. Here, we had to look at the menu on our phones and then call from the room. And from there, they bring it to our room. Now on Princess, we had those little medallions that we wore, and they had sensors all over the ship. So we could literally just go on the app. We didn't have to call or wait to talk to anybody or anything. Just in the app, put in our orders, tell them exactly what we want. We could tell them where we were on the ship if we wanted to, but they delivered to any place on the ship, not just your room.
Enjoy your dessert?
Yes, thank you. Awesome. There was no service charge at all. Here on Royal Caribbean, there's a $7.95 service charge, so it's not bad. But on Princess, it was totally free, and they will find you wherever you are on the ship. So we were up in an observation deck, just chilling in a little pod of some kind, in a little lounge area there. All of a sudden, there shows up our food. It was amazing. We actually thought about running around the ship and just constantly moving and seeing if they could actually locate us and still get our food to us. But we decided to take it easy and not do that. Maybe in the future though. So I definitely easily give Princess the point for that. 1 point for being able to find us anywhere on the ship. 1 point for being able to order in-app and not have to call. I mean, phones are so 1900s, aren't they? And of course, 3rd point for Princess because there's no charge. It was completely included. No service charge, no delivery charge, none of that. It was all included in our fare. So that is by far a win. There have been so many staff and crew on this ship that have been so incredibly friendly and helpful and just really great. Our cabin steward, Tito, has been fantastic. Mark, who gets everybody to wash their hands at the buffet, is so funny and fun, makes us smile every time we come here. But there's also been a few people who work here that just kind of can't be bothered. Like, they don't really try to be very helpful and or very friendly. I really wanted to try a dessert, but when I asked about it, the guy at the counter just grumbled that it takes a really long time to make. And we just decided that, like, the vibe was, no, he didn't feel like putting that order in for us, so I didn't get it. I mean, I feel like for as corporate as these things are, these cruises, and also just for how much they cost, that's not really okay. It's kind of bullshit. So I don't mean to be that entitled traveler, because generally I think we're pretty chill about stuff like this, but it just struck me as a little bit odd after the standard that Princess set. Every person we have met on board, the staff, crew, they are so friendly,
helpful.
So helpful. The service here is incredible. Yeah. I do have to acknowledge that times are different right now, right? 6 months ago when we cruised on Princess, they were trying to get people back, and they hadn't cruised for a really long time, so they might have just been really happy to be working again. I know I was when I started working again. So maybe that was a contributing factor. Maybe they're not always so happy and cheerful and friendly and helpful as we found them to be. The other difference might be that cruise was only about at 50% capacity, whereas this one is like completely sold out. So maybe they're stressed because they're suddenly dealing with a lot more people. So maybe that could have been a contributing factor. But again, really good training and customer service should happen under, I mean, this is the way cruises should be, and then the way they want to be. They want to be sold out. They want to be at capacity. So I think this is kind of the typical for cruising. So you would think that they would be okay with that, but maybe, they were a little overwhelmed. That's possible. It's possible they were just over all of us 80s freaks. I mean, I don't know. Maybe this was just weird to them and they just want to get back to their regular cruisers. That is certainly a possibility as well. So I do acknowledge that in the circumstances may have contributed some, but I was really surprised because for the most part, people have been extremely friendly, extremely helpful, but then there were a few that just kind of couldn't be bothered. We would ask a question, they'd just kind of be like, I don't know. Whereas on Princess, they would have been like, I don't know. Let me help you find out. And we didn't get that here. All right, a couple more comparisons between this cruise and our Princess cruise in Alaska. First off, this boat smells. Like, I hate to say it, but we're smelling sewage everywhere we go, and the bathrooms especially. Oh my gosh, they are not good. I went into one of the ladies' rooms up by the pool, and it just, did not smell good, and it was like 80 degrees in there too, which did not help. And it's not 80 degrees outside, but I guess it's just like baking in the sun or something, and it was just not a good combination. Steven went into a men's room near one of the dining places the other day, said it totally smelled like urine. So we also had an issue with our toilet flushing when we first got here. The ship did send someone immediately. They took care of it. It was very quick, so kudos to them, but there's definitely some plumbing stuff going on with this boat. We frequently, as we're walking through, just hit pockets of different decks where we're just like, ew, it smells again. So something to note. Get in the phone, guys. Like my pop stopper? Overall, we liked our Princess Cruise Line's room better than this one. It was just a little less banged up, I think, and it was smaller, but it just looked a little less worn. Also, the bed was a lot more comfortable. I mean, this one's fine. It's not terrible. It's just a little bit stiff, and that one just had that like cozy feel to it. You know what I mean? So that's a point to Princess. However, I also have to give a very strong point to Royal Caribbean for this. Check it out. We have this nice little dressing area here, and look at the placement of that full-length mirror. I can check all angles. I mean, come on, that's brilliant. I need this at home, too. I can do my hair, make sure the back isn't looking all messed up, make sure everything's tucked in right, and I'm not looking too janky. I don't have anything weird hanging out. I love this. Definitely strong point for Royal Caribbean on this one. So, about a tie as far as the rooms go because of that. Can you hear that back there? The audience is going crazy. We just finished seeing Berlin in concert on the ship. So if you haven't seen our other videos from this series, make sure you check them out. We are on the 80s cruise, and this thing is insane. We made a whole video all about what the 80s cruise is about. We've also done another video about the food on this ship. We've gone to ports of call like St. Maarten and St. Thomas, so make sure you check out those videos as well. Thank you so much for watching. I think it's safe to say Princess is the winner, but the 80s cruise is the most fun you'll ever have on a cruise. Doesn't matter what cruise line you're going on. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and we're gonna see you next time.